Hello, and the topic of today is romantic love. And I want to say a few things about romantic love, what causes us to underperform in this world, and what do I think could get us to perform much better. So the first principle I want to propose is that the intensity of love between two people is basically going to be similar. Let's say this is love, high, low. It's going to be similar. Yes, somebody can love more than the other person. Somebody could be a bit less, but it's not going to be very lopsided. So eventually people would get close to the love to each other. A certain level of love would create a certain amount of love back. That's principle number one. If you disagree, let me know, but I think it's correct. The second principle is for every relationship, the level of love has multiple possibilities. So there's a range. Let's say it's you and me. We can be here. We can be here. We can be here. There's a range. There's a range of love. And for simplicity, let's call this range from 0 to 100. You wake up in the morning today and you say, we are here, but we could be much worse. We'll call it 0. We could do much better. We call it 100. This is the range of love. And what that means is that if one person leads, there's a good chance the other person would follow. 100% no, but it would lead. And it would mean that if one person leads upward, pushes love for upward, love can go up and it can continue up to 100. And if one person pushes down, we can keep on pushing down. So it means that this principle of loving more or less at the same intensity and the idea that there's a range, we're not, this level of love that each of us feels toward their significant other is not, fully predetermined. There's a range, and if somebody pushes up, it will go up, and if somebody pushes down, it will go down. And the next principle is that pushing down is simpler than pushing up. We can complain, we can do things that show a lack of effectiveness, and because of that, if we think about the range and we say, where are we in the range of love, my guess is that many of us would say we're at the bottom part of it. Somebody started pushing down, the next person pushed down a little bit, and from the range that we have, we are underperforming. So we have equality, we have a range, and it's easier to push down than to push up. And because of that, we are mostly not living up to our love potential. And the last, what also is clear from that is that if we want to improve things, somebody has to push up. Yes, it's easier to push down, but it's possible to push up. And of course, all of us could say, well, it's my partner that needs to push up. I'm such a good person, they made this mistake, they did not, pick they left the mug in the sink. It's their responsibility to push up. Of course, that doesn't help. So it's us, it's on us to push up. And the last thing I want to propose is that this perceived range that we have between 0 and 100, and each of us, I'm guessing we can imagine, okay, we're here, what could I imagine as being 100, what can I imagine being 0? I think we can each imagine that range. I think that the range is actually very different than what we're imagining, and that's the last point. I think the 0 can get much worse than we're thinking, right? People can get into fights and so on that are horrific beyond what we can easily imagine. And I think the same thing is true for the upside. So the last point I want to make is that this range between 0 and 100, we are motivated to go a little bit up, and we want not to go down, and we want our partner to push up and so on. But I want to propose that the range is actually much larger than what we have, which means that the downside of not taking care of it is much larger than we think, that things can get much worse than we think, and we need to worry about that. But more importantly, the upside is much higher. Imagine whatever you're thinking 100 is right now, maybe you're wrong. Maybe the real max is 200. It's like much higher than what you're imagining. And only once you start scratching, moving the relationship, our dynamics and so on, things could get better. So when you say to yourself, oh, what's my motivation to pushing up? I'm already at 75, do I really have a motivation to push up? What if you realize that the top is not 100, it's 200? Now you have a huge range to push up to. So anyway, what's the point? The point is, I think relationships are about more or less equal. It's very easy to push down. Somebody has to take responsibility for pushing up. And the range of possible love is much higher than we're imagining. And therefore, the exercise of pushing up the relationship and getting us to be better and better has tremendous returns. We just have to really try and really believe and try to push up a lot. Okay, to pushing our relationship up and up and up. Bye for now.